Let's watch Call for an Uprising, shall we? See what this dude's up to.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling...
Can I put a price on freedom? $10,000.
...our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for...
Oh, I remember what this video is about now. He thinks pulling out of Afghanistan is a conspiracy and bullshit. He thinks this is all fake. So this will be a fun video.
For an uprising, welcome to today's show. Hey, what is that over there on that airplane? That number? What is that if you flip it around? Oh man, coincidences. I'm going to do a news report covering all of the events going on.
That was an insert. That means he saw this video footage as he was editing and was like, yeah, 9/11, we did it, everyone, 9/11. I never understood why these people think that whatever deep state, Illuminati, conspiracy, bullshit thing that they believe in, I've never understood why they think they need to leave clues like they're Edward Nygma. Princess Amelia says at this point, what isn't a conspiracy? I know, right?
Going on over in the Middle East. But first, I just want to let everybody know that I have a new store, a new merchandise store. Obviously, most of...
Oh my god, look at his merch! Don't shed on me with the fucking Gadsden snake.
You know that Teespring decided to shut down my store for no reason because...
No reason. It's not that they don't want to be associated with this anti-vax horse shit, clearly.
Well, I wasn't prideful enough for them. So I just found an alternative. That was easy to solve. And I'm using that one now. So check out some of the stuff over there. There's some pretty neat stuff you can see on the screen. New stuff. And, of course, this helps the channel out. It helps in other ways other than, you know, it helps in other ways.
Is it bad that I want to buy some of this merch? Muddy says 9/11, boom, libtards and deep state fucking cucked.
Obviously, financially helps the channel out here.
Is vaccine shedding on the bingo card? I actually don't know.
Supports the channel. No.
Oh my god, there's children's sizes. Please don't buy your children Call for an Uprising merchandise.
Also spreads awareness so people see it and they might wonder what it is. So, you know, check out the channel or it might wake them up some of the stuff on there. So definitely.
Does that count for vaccine shedding? Yes.
Check it out if you haven't. You can see it. It's linked below. It's also on my website. Click the store tab on the website and you can find it. Okay, so let's get into what's going on. And now I'm going to get something stuck in your head real quick.
Why does everyone have merch these days? I mean, I don't have merch. Yet.
Quick, because, well, most of you did it to me, so now I'm going to do it back. Yesterday when I covered the Taliban the situation going on over there, a lot of people just got this stuck in my head.
Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana.
Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana.
Call, that song is about the original guy who actually wrote and performed those songs, talked about it. It was working for someone, a company or whoever in this area, who actually buys the bananas. So you pick the banana bunches, okay? And then you hold them somewhere. And then the tally man comes, and he comes and he counts the bananas you have, or tallies them, and then pays you accordingly. If he's gonna try and say this is related, I'm gonna Minecraft myself in Fortnite. Bitter Grin says, when are you releasing merch? I was joking. I don't have any plans for merch. Don't give him money, just copy the design and make your own personal shirt. Well, that's no fun.
Banana, right? So what's going on over there, Call, right? What's going on? Well, As you can see, it's very serious. Now, before I get deep into this, I do want to say something first, because people think I'm joking about lives being at stake, and I think that's a ridiculous way to respond to any of this stuff. Our lives are at stake every single day, living as civilians, and I'm not saying that like, oh, you could trip and fall down the stairs. They're chem bombing us every day from the skies.
Is this how he deals with the fact that he lives a very boring life in one of the safest nations on the country to live in, assuming he lives in the United States or Canada? He feels the need to pretend that he's in danger constantly, or it somehow emasculates him. Just start taking estrogen, Call. Good shit.
In our foods, okay? The stuff that people are shedding all over the place. So, I'm not... Okay? The stuff that people are shedding from the skies in our foods, okay? The stuff that people are now...
Report for anti-vax. Do 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 do. It's so interesting that you can have a video removed for medical misinformation, but there isn't just a button to say and report for medical misinformation. You have to do it in a roundabout way. Other dangerous acts, yeah. Report.
People are shedding all over the place. So I'm not going to feel sympathy for people who signed up to protect this place.
In fairness, I can kind of maybe understand why, because if I'm YouTube and you put in place a report button for medical misinformation, can you imagine how quickly chuds and conspiracy theorists would report, like, videos of Fauci talking and, like, medical misinformation, or actual doctors talking about real things? So I guess I kind of get that. eToon says, too bad Call decided to troll yesterday. I wish he'd be better at trolling. I'm fully on board with Call coming to these streams and trolling if he wants to. He just needs to be better at it, right? Be entertaining if you're gonna show up. Muddy says, no, I'm shedding because I'm a demon, and when I possess a body, all the normal bodily functions stop and the skin starts rotting off. Jeez, no, you're demons, Call.
Over there, when their own government are the ones who are funding this entire operation. Old Tolly, yeah.
Does the 1109 idiocy Call counted as numerology used as evidence? I would count that more towards spurious symbology as evidence, because it's not like he's going like you know, 7 plus 8 plus, you know, whatever. He's just saying, this looks like 9/11 if you flip it. So I'm gonna go spurious symbology as evidence, but not numerology.
Yeah, they are actually funded and supported by Central Intelligence, just like everything else is. And of course, the good old...
This is something that he almost actually is accidentally right on. It's like a clock right twice a day thing, in the sense that the Taliban was like... For one thing, they ended up getting a lot of weapons from various previous military campaigns that happened in the area, both from the United States and the Soviet Union. And during the occupation of the Soviet Union, precursor groups to the Taliban were given training and weapons by the American government. That is true. Correct.
Most ... odd.
Yeah, Rambo 3. Rambo 3 ends with, Rambo 3 is dedicated to... Hold on. Rambo 3 dedication. I think in the more recent re-releases, they've removed this. This film is dedicated to the brave oh god, I always have trouble pronouncing this name. Mujahideen fighters of Afghanistan. A group who went on to basically be a precursor of the Taliban. Yikerinos, fam.
Excuse me, man, frog in my throat. So it's hard to feel sympathy. Obviously, I don't want to see anything happen to anyone, but it doesn't change how I'm going to cover this stuff because it's comedy. Timing is comedy. It's all comedy, how it all works. And I want to talk about the narratives as well. Where should I start with this whole thing? Should we start with some of the pictures first? I think I'm going to start with some of the pictures. Now, this is obviously natural, right? The chaos going on over there. They show some of these pictures, people chasing down planes, people sitting, apparently, we have people sitting on top of the airplanes. There's no, because everything that's happened, obviously, there's no security anymore. It's all chaos over there. But you can see people running in the streets. Looks like they're napping on top of the airplanes there, on top of 747s, getting nice photographs. They don't seem too terrorized. And of course, we have
Wasn't this fake? I don't know about this image, but I definitely saw video and footage from yesterday where people were literally grabbing onto planes as they were taking off. Really scary stuff. I always think about that. I've been thinking about that too, and it makes me wonder, like, they must understand that you can't hold on to the outside of a plane, right? I mean, I guess not, because I also saw video of some of them falling off to their deaths. So clearly some people must have thought you can hold on to the outside of a plane. I don't know. I think Afghanistan has like a 40% illiteracy rate. So, like, I get it. There's going to be people who maybe just don't know, and in their head they're not thinking about it, so they think about it the same way you might, like, sit on top of a car and hold on to it, or, like, a train or something, and not understand the speed and the lack of air pressure and stuff that we're dealing with at the altitudes planes fly. I don't know, but it was really, really wild and really, really sad.
we have our...
Maybe they rather thought the plane would stop? Maybe? But they kept holding on as the plane took off. But I guess at that point you might just be so afraid that you just, like, hold on. I don't know. Either way, tragic. The whole Afghanistan thing, I'm not going to get too much into it because this is Tinfoil Tuesday. I don't want to get into the politics angle. I'm glad we're no longer there because we shouldn't have been there in the first place, and this was basically the inevitable outcome. But it sucks, and I feel for the people there, especially women and children, who are going to be absolutely terrorized for an indefinite period of time. It's really, really shitty. Tucker White says, Nerd Rage, that's not a 747 call, that's an Airbus A340. It even says on the nose of the goddamn plane. And dude from Moria says, it's desperation, like how people jump out of a burning building. Yeah.
Our friend
Profane Priestess, thanks for 11 months, says, call, we spent 2 decades and trillions of dollars and we fucking failed. This is not what this is what imperialism gets you.
Friends over at the Tali, just, hey, showing up, right? Sitting at the desk, the first thing you're thinking of, right, when you're doing a hostile takeover of a government is you want to pose for photos. Just like...
Kind of, yeah. Honestly. They won. They won. There was no resistance from the standing government. The army that was trained by the United States over the last, like, 15 years. I know we've been there for 20, but I think they officially started training the military about 5 years in or something like that. Crumbled immediately because they hadn't, I mean, for a variety of reasons. You can talk about, and other channels have talked about this in the last few days, but the lack of sort of national identity, as opposed to them having, you know, more tribal identities within the country. Afghanistan's a weird situation. The corrupt government that America initially set up that hadn't been paying the soldiers for months. There's a variety of reasons. But, like, the military that existed there folded immediately. So they basically just walked in and sat down, and yeah, they won. Once you win, you take the fucking pictures, you know? Look, we're in the office of the president. Andrew Patella says, have you seen the transphobic takes on the Taliban? A bunch of British fucks using this tragedy to score points. I saw one that I tweeted about, yeah. Really stupid.
Kind of convenient that we saw this.
I'm pretty disgusted by basically anyone that's using this for any political purpose outside of recognizing, A, the tragedy that is what's going on in Afghanistan and how many people are going to be hurt there because of this. And 2, did I say A and 2? 1, 2, whatever. And the second being, America's foreign policy is and has been garbage for decades, and it needs to be changed basically from the ground up. Anyone else trying to put any other political meaning on this needs to fuck right off. Learn the correct lesson here, guys. This is a tragedy. This is terrible. This is going to end in a ridiculous amount of suffering for people in that country. And secondly, America's foreign policy is fucking garbage. Those are the bullet points. Learn it or shut the fuck up. Those are the 2 opinions you need to get out of this. Nick says TERFs can fuck off. Yeah.
The same operation done up here at the Capitol, right? We saw the same thing. These guys jumped in, broke in, and they were taking photographs, sitting at desks with their feet up like a show, because this is how, obviously, Central Intelligence trained them. And the same thing goes here, right? They're sitting at the desk. They're taking selfies. Anybody hungry? Anybody...
Yeah, they won. They won. This is them being like, ha ha ha, we did it. Yay. What do you expect them to be doing right now? There's no one attacking them. They won. Tucker White says, here's a perfect summation of what happened in Afghanistan. Afghanistan falls to Taliban a couple of hours earlier than expected. Oh, the Onion.
Want to continue the capture.
What are the TERFs doing? Someone just was talking about how some TERFs, I guess, were using the Afghanistan situation to shit on trans people for some reason.
Is there a plan here, or we just kick everyone out of their office and then we just sit at their desks? Is that what the plan was for the takeover?
I mean, kinda. They're now in the seat of government of Afghanistan, and they have de facto power because they have all the weapons and manpower. Yep.
Right?
I'm a little confused as to what he thinks taking over a country looks like. Because the same thing happened like in World War II, when the Russians went into Berlin and of course destroyed a bunch of shit because they had resistance, so they actually had to like do stuff, let's say. But then yeah, they go into the buildings and they're like, ha 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 ha. You can see it too when Americans invaded Iraq, right? There are pictures of American soldiers in, like, Saddam's palace and stuff taking pictures. This is what people do when they take over a country or whatever, and they gain access to, like, something that is symbolic of the seat of power of the previous government. They sit there and they go, haha, we won! Look, we're in the place that used to be theirs! And because we live in the 21st century, people take pictures. Especially in this case for PR purposes. How else do you... This is like a fantastic way of instantly establishing that you were in charge. Bird cleanse. Okay. That's just a scary looking bird. I don't feel cleansed at all. Tucker White says, does Call think terrorists also can't be vapid social media whores? And dude from Moria says, check out these guys. They obviously didn't fight in World War. They're so happy. Oh, yeah. It's not a new thing, Call. Not new. Kirthan says, I legit saw a TERF say, I'm not worried about the Taliban, I'm worried about the men in burqas. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Princess Amelia says, I've seen the TERF shit. They're being like, at least the Taliban recognize the importance of biological sex and sarcastically asking whether they'll allow trans men to identify out of their oppression. It's sick. Yeah, I responded to that. Can we not talk about the TERFs during this, guys, though? Like I said, the conversation of Afghanistan should be about the conversation about fucking Afghanistan, not any extant political debates outside of that we're trying to connect to this. Just saying. Now is not the time to talk about TERFs.
We're just gonna, everyone's gonna run, the president flees, and now you got his desk. So now you can see what's in his drawers. You could sit there, put your feet up, maybe have a little caviar, celebrate, have some cigars. Because, I mean, it's always a photo op for the tally. Do you think, you know, with the beliefs that we're told that everybody has here in the tally, that they wouldn't want to be taking selfies or be photographed?
Why? Maybe when they were, like, hiding out from the U.S. military and they were trying to hide, they don't have to hide anymore. They won. And even when they were hiding, They were sending out messages and stuff. They were sending out videos. What the fuck do you mean, Call? What is your vision? What do you think the Taliban is? Adam Nebula, thanks for 5 months. Says, thanks, Hannah, for keeping me sane while delivering mail. Cool.
But, you know, of course, they'll tell you what. They want to get those out so the world sees it. Well,
yes? Yes, unironically.
I don't know if it's the first thing I think of when I'm doing all these types of activities.
Okay, Call, you've just defeated the largest military in the world in basically a 20-year war of attrition. What are you gonna do now? Microphone. Are you gonna go to fucking Disney World? Or are you gonna take some PR photos, get settled into your new base of operations, which is probably going to be this place, or they'll use a different state building, I don't know. What do you think they're gonna do? What do you mean?
Activities is let's get photographs. I mean, I know.
Tucker White says, but Hannah, a nuanced, intelligent conversation about the geopolitical quagmire that is Afghanistan doesn't score cheap political points or social media clout.
No, it's a selfie-first society, but come on. Let's be real here. So those are some of the photographs. Everyone's saying cheese over there.
Also, these aren't selfies, Call. A selfie isn't any photo you take, you fucking boomer. A selfie is if you take a photo of yourself. Stupid.
There. And then the other things I want to talk about are the narratives real quick. Because people are wondering, what are the narratives that come out of this? I talked about, of course, overthrowing government, right? Was one of them, which obviously plays into all of us, and because we've been lumped into this nonsense with Q, and the politics stuff, right? They want you to feel the threats from within, which is what they're trying to do now, which is laughable because of free speech. There's a threat from within. But the main one I heard at first was the women narratives. So I turned the channel, I put on the old cancer box there, and you know, you got.
If Call is so against TV, why does he not only have TV but apparently has a cable subscription? Numi94, thanks for 11 months.
NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, Fox.
Okay, so he has cable, or like a satellite or something. So Call thinks all media is poison intended to brainwash you, but he pays every month to have a cable package. What a genius.
Fox News. Every one of them is talking about the women. Oh.
I don't even have a cable subscription. Like, Call, what are you doing?
All the women over there. Of course, we all love women. Real women, of course. Not men that claim, you know. Anyway, they were talking about that and the narrative of, you know, what could happen to them and how bad it is. You know, it's going to be for them, and oh, we feel so bad and sympathetic. And I noticed that the paradigm, the narrative between the two, where there's a left-right, the left was saying that men apparently, get this, men who are Republican don't care about women. So they were using it as a divide, and they were trying to say that the Republicans are rooting for the tally.
I think some people were pointing out that there were literal Republicans that were saying the Taliban's positions were good, which they were. They're open on social media for you to see. Lauren Boebert did that, for instance. Wait, did I get her first name right? Am I having a brain fart? Anyway, Nick Fuentes as well took the side of the Taliban. Muddy says, I mean, selfie is better than him making up a word. I feel like he'd make up some shit like Alfie. Sorry for the bird picture. I thought you'd think he looked dumb for something. I don't apologize. Tucker White says, could you imagine the Taliban celebrating with a trip to Disney World? Taliban, death to America and all infidels. But first, we go to ride Space Mountain.
In a sense. That was the feel that I was getting. And then scrolling through Twitter and social media, mainstream stuff, that was the feel. So you're going to have more of that divide from women, right? There was women already lined up being interviewed over there yesterday, right after this happened.
Yeah?
Oh, how they have, you know, they've gone to school and all this stuff, and they have careers, and now they've come in here and they're going to make them go back to the kitchen or whatever the Tali does, you know.
They're going to rape them, Call. This isn't a fucking haha go make me a sandwich joke, you prick. They're gonna basically be sex slaves. Fuck you. This isn't a joke. Asshole. Sky Comet Fallen says, Lauren doesn't understand the Taliban would even let her leave her house unaccompanied, right? She doesn't care. She's a grifter.
Whatever.
Or stone them or kill them, yes.
Their gimmick is there. They're going to force women to go and do this.
In Afghanistan, girls are used to dreaming big.
I'm a doctor.
Doctor,
I am dentist.
dentist,
I'm doctor.
another doctor. For them, going to school is normal.
You have many students.
8,402 students.
So is coping with a constant threat from men who don't want them to learn.
It was already lined up. I thought people were running the streets. And then one of the headlines says, calm and fear in Afghan. Is it calm or is it fear? Because
both. The country is being taken over. Have you ever read about the banality of evil? National takeovers are kind of like that sometimes, Call. It's both horrifying in the sense that the entirety of your nation and its laws are about to change for the worse, but also, you still have to live your life if you can't get out. What do? At the airport, for instance, it's panic because people are trying to get out and trying everything in their power to get on these airplanes. But for people who aren't even going to do that, can't attempt to do that, find it futile, they just have to sit there and wait for the foundations of their society for the last 20 years to collapse and be replaced yet again by fundamentalists who are going to remove the rights of half of the population and sexually assault a good portion of them, children included. Call acts like he gives a shit about kids, and he fucking doesn't. He doesn't. I don't even know if he believes this conspiracy shit at this point. I really don't. It might just be a fucking grift. Especially if he pays for cable while talking about this rhetoric like he thinks CNN is fucking poison, yet he apparently watches it and pays for cable. What is he doing? Fuck you. Raven says, anyone see that Squidbillies episode with the alien Lerm who kept saying death to America? No, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
they're the opposite, right? You're either calm or, you know, you're fearful pretty much, right? I mean, of course you could be in the middle. They're saying it's both. So
there are a lot of people in Afghanistan, Call. They're not all one person.
there's people who are being interviewed. Nobody seems too frightened. People are sitting down.
Well, the people in the classroom are children who don't fully understand what's about to happen to them because they're younger than 20 years old and haven't lived in a world without the United States military there. And again, I'm not saying that's good. Well, let me put it this way. The United States shouldn't have invaded Afghanistan. It was never going to end well. But while there was occupation, at the very least, the rate of children, girls in particular, going to school increased to something like, I think, 60%. When it was 0% before, and it's about to go back down to 0%. Again, I don't think we should have gone. I think it's good we're not there anymore. This was inevitable. It's a fucking tragedy.
Looking around. Very interesting. But, you know, that's how the government works. That's how productions work. Right? And it's all production. So the left-right seesaw now is in play, obviously, too. And before I get into the left-right seesaw, I just wanted to read a small part of the article from CNN. As news broke that the Taliban had captured Kabul, some images of uncovered women adorning the walls of beauty salons in the Afghan capital were painted over. The Taliban says it has changed, promising that women living under their rule will have more rights this time around, but it appears that the people painting over the signs were not taking any chances.
Yeah. I was surprised, actually, by the PR people. Of course, I don't believe a single word the Taliban says. Why the fuck would I? They're religious extremists who murder people to get their way. But I was interested that the PR people had the sense to be like, no, we're different this time, guys. Wink, wink. I would imagine they're going to, if they're being pragmatic about how evil they are, slowly, sort of, start their reign of terror across the fucking country, and at least wait for some sort of pretense. Like, for instance, if you're evil and you're the Taliban, it's a bad excuse, but something along the lines of, oh, we're gonna keep children from schools for a while because of COVID. Yeah, COVID, yeah, schools are going to close. And then, at some point, after some period of time, you go like, oh, we're gonna restart schools, but we're only gonna let the boys back right now because they have stronger immune systems. Yeah, sure. And then they just never let the girls back in. Like, it's I think they're trying to be a little more sneaky about it this time because they know that they're basically fucked economically. Like, who's gonna do business with them? Probably America. But you know what I mean. The world's a nightmare.
So I just love how here in America, all of a sudden now, with what this really, if this was really all real, thing happening, right? Will we leave people there for all these years and then pull them out? What was the point of paying for them to be there? Huh? Of course, it makes no sense. Nobody cares.
Oh, I see the problem. Cole expects America's foreign policy to be rational and based on anything other than funneling trillions of dollars into military contractor pockets. That's where the disconnect is. Raven says, make no mistake, we went to Afghanistan to exploit resources, and now, after that's over, rich ghouls and politicians with big defense budgets are chomping at the bit to go to war with someone else, probably Iran. I swear to God, if any fucking person tries to send us to Iran, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I just fucking can't. I can't. Tucker White says, if the Taliban are smart, they'll America's ass. Thus, they'll be allowed to do anything they want. I assume that was supposed to be they'll kiss America's ass?
Would we?
It's not just kissing America's ass, though. Like, if they... Like, let's say they took a cue from, like, Saudi Arabia, and they're like, alright, what resource do we have? Lithium? Lithium's a pretty well-needed resource in the world right now. It's used for a lot of electronics. One of the largest deposits of lithium in the world is in Afghanistan. Say, alright, America, we'll give you decent deals on lithium if you leave us the fuck alone. They'll do something along those lines if they're, savvy in terms of trying to keep their state functional. Princess Amelia says, as John McCain once said, bomb, 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 bomb Iran. Oh god, I remember that shit. Oh my god. Oh god. Everything's a nightmare.
Would the narrative be about, obviously, you don't want to see anything harmful happen to women, but it'd be about women's rights immediately? Or would it be about, what's the danger? What danger does it present having them there? And who's going to be killed? That kind of a thing. Instead of saying, oh, women were at the beauty salons and they were painted over.
It's emblematic, you fucking idiot. They're showing the nightmare that is a society regressing in 24 hours. Do you not understand that, Call? I know you watch my videos at this point, because you clearly do. You are illustrating that you are an idiot. He doesn't even know. It's so fucking sad.
Oh, what? So they, as soon as they got there, the tally got there, they went to the local salon, and they made sure, they saw the nails and the nail polish on the walls, and they machine gunned it.
Call, did you even read the thing that you just referenced? It was the owner deciding to do it before they got there because they know, based on previous experience 20 years ago, if they show up and it's like that, they're gonna get in trouble. And when you get in trouble with the Taliban, you don't get a ticket, they cut your fucking head off.
And then they lock the door so nobody can get in the beauty salon. Is that it? But isn't that also a stereotype, by the way? So aren't they playing it both ways with how they stare? Because see, everything they do doesn't make sense, but obviously the sheep out there believe everything they hear, and they don't realize that that's a stereotype, so you should be offended, right, according to how all this stuff goes. But that is a narrative. The tally says it's changed, promising that women living under their rule will have more rights this time around. Okay. Is this what we're talking about one day? Women's rights? So then when you get the left-right divide, that's what these talking zombies, because everybody thinks they're a voice now. That's what social media has destroyed.
Oh, the irony.
Done to destroy our society, is that John Doe and, whoever.
Like, call for an uprising? Uneducated idiot?
Out there talk about this stuff like they're political pundits, and they just repeat what they hear on the TV. Oh, you know, if we had better foreign relations. Yeah, oh, if we had better foreign... Please, give me more detail. How about if the governments weren't working together to create this illusion of this world chaos, that none of this would be occurring, and it wouldn't be anyone's problem if they didn't have a TV, because they wouldn't even know what was going on.
Why do you have a TV call? Why do you pay for CNN? I don't.
Going on. No? Oh, well, if, you know, and then it turns into what? Oh, well, Trump's the one who pulled the troops. No, Biden pulled the troops, and Biden should be impeached. And he's...
Biden, Trump, Obama, George W. Bush. All of them have some amount of blame in this. This is not partisan call, and people making it partisan are idiots. This is a problem with the United States political system as a whole, as it exists in relation to its military-industrial complex. This has to do with America's failed foreign policy for decades.
The waste of time continues back and forth. Meanwhile, in about a week, they're rolling in mandates in places like New York City, where you're not going to be able to do anything without...
Oh, good. Non sequitur. We're going to talk about vaccines now for some reason.
...in you that hasn't even been approved by the FDA. Pretty interesting, right?
Let's see. A call for furry raids. Thanks for following. If that's call, hi, I'm telling everyone how stupid you are. Killjoy says, just clarification on the mineral resources of Afghanistan. After the initial push, most of the resources were assessed, and the vast majority are not currently economically viable. Mountains have lithium, but that's where the Taliban are, and they don't really do economics. Mostly sustenance farming economy. In 2001, the GDP of Afghanistan was $2 billion, the majority of which is opium. Yeah, see, that's what I was saying, though, is I think they'd be best served in the case of trying to maintain somewhat stable international relations, is telling some America, and through that, some American company, hey, we'll let you come in and mine these resources for us if you give us some amount of money in return. You know, we'll rent you the rights to these, you know, areas for getting the resources over. Which would stabilize foreign relations to an extent, and give them a constant monetary influx, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Simple Cat Girl says, is he for leaving Afghanistan or not? He's acting as if the Taliban isn't bad, but he's bitching about pulling out the troops. He doesn't think any of it's real. Raven says, in fact, pulling out of Afghanistan, at least in the last couple of years, has been a pretty bipartisan issue. Let's not forget that Trump was the first to want to back out of there. Yeah, he set the initial date. Dude from Moria says, speaking from a country that was screwed over politically by the U.S. more than twice, I just can't stand the complete stupidity and disconnection from reality that call displays. I know, it's pretty bad.
No one seems to care about that, because now they're distracted by the left-right paradigm again. And as the seesaw, because remember, the left-right paradigm, it has to be a seesaw. One side is the upper hand, whoop, it seesaws the other way. So for the last 9 months or so, the left have been pummeling on the right? Oh, we won the election, and you're horrible people because the insurrection. And
I mean, both of those things are true.
And then the right's argue.
Oh, no, I didn't see what you said. Hold on. The account was made 6 minutes ago. He was clearly watching, not signed in, and wanted to comment. Did he comment yet, or did he get scared? That's cute.
Argument is, you stole it. Well, now now it's...
The left deals in reality, the right deals in lies. I don't think it's as black and white as that.
Oh, now the people who are...
No comment yet. He's waiting for a good one. He's like... He's just raging right now.
Who are on the left are going, oh boy, this doesn't look good for us because of Biden. Well, just remember...
Not really. I'm really glad he pulled out of there. I'm glad Trump initiated the pullout. It's bipartisan, regardless of what dumb assholes on Twitter will tell you.
What Trump did, and they just talk back and forth, wasting hours in their day until they fall asleep, and they do it again the next day. They rinse, they repeat, because they are just completely clueless They're like, it's like pulling a cord out of a doll, and they just go back and they go forth, and they go back and they go forth, just like the left-right paradigm seesaw. And it just continues on and continues on, and that's all you're going to hear for the time being. And of course, Joe will speak. Maybe I'll cover it, because maybe he'll talk again about drinking blood. Remember that a couple weeks ago? Yeah, I covered that. Yeah, maybe he'll talk about it again. Who knows? Probably was yesterday. Not funny, but seriously, he was. And so that's the stuff going on over there. They're posing for photos. They're sitting on planes. We've got the feminist narrative, of course, at the forefront. It's been a while since they've had any fuel on that fire. And of course, the people in America who pretend they care about people's lives over there, other than people who's, I'm not talking about people on this channel. I'm talking about the people who are talking on the TV or talking on social media, or liberals and rights.
Call, if you are here in the chat, or rather, whatever dumb name. Oh, there you go. A call for butt stuff. Hooray, Hannah, and hooray for vaccines and NASA. Hey, a call for butt stuff. Clearly you're not a call for an uprising, because that would be crazy. But a call for an uprising happened to mention in this that he not only owns a TV, but he has a cable subscription, because he talked about seeing CNN and MSNBC. If he claims the media is such poison, why the fuck is he paying every month for cable? Because I don't even pay for cable. What's up with that? Raven says, not inside. Pull out, not inside. Andrew Batella says... I know that's a different one from the other account. I think that was the first one. Andrew Batella says, I don't know too much about the international politics, but do you think there might have been a better way to pull out? I honestly couldn't tell you. If anything, maybe maintain or at least start evacuations earlier. It seems that for some reason they assumed it would take longer for the Taliban to take over, and I have no idea why. But yeah, not maintain a military presence longer, but start evacuations earlier, just with the understanding that the Taliban is going to take over. I think it really came out of pride and the U.S. not wanting to be like, well, we're evacuating before we even leave because we know we fucking lost. Doing that would be admitting we lost. It's another Vietnam, and make no mistake, it's another Vietnam, but even fucking worse. So people are going to die and get hurt just because of ego, basically, and how it looks. A call for butt stuff says, fuck a call for an uprising. I've been watching Hannah since Bible Reloaded days. Hooray for butt stuff. Again, you gotta do better with the trolling. Butt stuff is good, though. You should try it. Bland Rick says, on a happier note, when does the booba stop hurting? 2 months? HRT reporting in, booba growth is mad hype but painful. It's going to be periodic. After like 3 or 4 months, it'll stop being as constant in my experience, and then it'll just happen in spurts. I'm probably 1.5 years, almost 2 years in now, and it's rare. So, Logarth says, it was sped up by the Afghani president bailing with suitcases full of cash during negotiations. Call for butt stuff with 30 bits. Wait a minute, is Call giving... Whoever this troll is, at this point I don't even know if it is Call, because they're actually giving me bits. I don't think Call would give me bits, but thanks. This is actually disappointing. I'm doing this to piss off Call. Have some money. Okay. Andrew Patella says, can we all fund a butt plug for Call? I think he needs one badly. Cool Cat says, I can't wait for 20 years from now for textbooks to say we won this war. Yeah, I don't know if that'll be the case. Neener is meaner. Thanks for subscribing at tier 1.
It's back and forth. Yeah, they pretend. Oh,
yeah, no, that's not Call. Hydrate.
They really care about the Oh, my guy Trump wouldn't have done this. Well, my guy. It's like being on a sports team.
Tube Man says, Hannah, I'm getting dinner. Should I get the crazy calzone? Yes, let me know how it is.
You think they really care about human life over there? They say they do, but they don't. They'd say someone like me doesn't because I yell, but I actually do. I don't want to see harm to anyone, troops or not, even though the troops are eventually, our own troops are eventually the ones throwing us in the camps here when we get back on track here in a few days talking about the mandates. But we have this temporary distraction for a little bit. So now we got multiple headlines keeping you in check here as we come closer to September and that specific date on the 20th anniversary comes around. So
Kirathan with 200 bits becomes a stream boss.
Fun time to be alive, isn't it, folks? Glad I'm here to try to at least amuse you and hopefully let you know what's going on, at least from a common sense standpoint. You could kind of see it, I hope. And if you're someone in the left-right paradigm, well, here's another chance to jump off ship and realize it's a show, because it couldn't be more obvious. Just look at the narratives that come out when these things happen. Look at the comedy show. Look at the photos. Think, what are people, this is what they're doing. They're sitting at the, I mean, whew. CIA's got them trained now. All of them, on all sides of the world. Hey, you know, when you do these events, take selfies. I know they have humans in general.
Call for butt stuff with 75 bits. Jamie Lynn with 30 says, is it true that the breast pain comes and goes? Mine's been hurting for months and then stopped, and I thought they wouldn't grow anymore. It comes and goes, for sure.
Trained to do that, but
usually you don't see the final growth until like 3 years on HRT. That's an average, so it's just going to depend.
If you were a militia group, I don't think it'd be the first thing on your mind. I just don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I want to remind everyone to check out the website at callfornuprising.com. I have new content over there. You'll want to see a new video about stuff being sprayed from the sky. Yeah, that's magnetic as well, which I'm sure some of you already know about, but you'll want to see it in some of the videos connected to it. That's over on the website, and the forum is what's the word? Rocking? I don't know. Is that lame? The forum is just very active. Lots of great stuff over there, so check it out if you haven't. I want to remind you again, I have that new merchandise store up, so check it out. Give it a look. Lots of different stuff in there. You know, helps the channel out greatly, so check it out if you haven't. I want to thank you again for your support. Sub to my backup channel if you get a chance, and that's a link below as well. So this is the world we live in, folks. Great times, great times. God bless all of you and your families.
If you've ever had
Cole did another video on this that I'm not going to watch because he's a dumbass. And honestly, the Afghanistan thing really frustrates the hell out of me just because of the state of the world, and it's not good. And he's also doing anti-vax stuff, so I don't know. Check out his channel, watch the videos. He usually does stuff that breaks the rules. So if you see him doing any anti-vax stuff, report him. What else we got?